Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Doing this with the fingers for some reason. Guys, you're now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Please drink responsibly. They are our friends and our favorite people. And Doug got to hang out with Jim Beam himself earlier this afternoon.
Jim's a great guy.
Yeah, just superb fella, that fella James is. Anyways, my name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter, on the Instagram. That guy is DMAC_LA on the Twitter, on the Instagram. Host of your Dodgers Nation postgame show every night, some nights. Doug, it's an off day, and we're doing a show. It feels right.
It is an off day, and the Dodgers, they can't get close to that division title, but they can increase their magic number with a Giants loss. The magic number right now is at 4 right now. We're closing in on a division championship. Didn't finish that series. They didn't love the series with the Padres, but still, hey, it's all a dress rehearsal. They have nothing to play for in the division, but I think they're winning within games, even if the score does not reflect that.
Yeah. You saw some things you liked. Even Pepiot's loss, you see some things you like out of the kid in the start. So we'll talk a little bit about the Padres series.
Some thoughts on Pep.
And mainly Pepiot. If you guys want to hear more about the Padres series, go check out Doug's post-game shows. He did a couple of them talking about Pepiot and Kyle Hurt and all that kind of stuff. But we have some more thoughts today. We want to hear your guys' input on them. We're also going to have our 5 questions for the Dodgers over the last couple of weeks of baseball that'll be left. There are some questions to be asked and eventually answered before October play. I already mentioned the Pepiot thing, and then a little bit on Walker Buehler's latest comments and just kind of riffing and playing with off-season Walker, because there will be no Walker this year. Walker no run. Guys, we're getting super close to that 70K. It's getting pretty cray-cray. We were at earlier, actually it was late last night. What was it, Noah? We were at 69,420.
69,420, literally on the dot.
Nice.
Giggity.
That was pretty cool. We've actually grown since then. So subscribe, get us a 70K. We're giving away a Mookie Betts jersey. That's a real thing we're doing. If we could do it next week live, that'd be pretty cool. So tell all your friends to subscribe, even if they don't like us. Just do it anyways.
Tell your grandma, too.
Tell your grandma.
Is that code?
Tell your grandma.
Door to door.
And then, grandma can get the jersey, and then, just take it.
It's not code for anything. So.
All right, let's jump into a little bit of some Doyer baseball and a bit of Dodgers talk. We don't want to get sued. Dodgers do lose. I was looking over here. I felt the camera switch happen. Dodgers lose 2 of 3. You do you. I want you to DJ, man. You're DJ producer Noah.
Yeah, I was muting my mic instead of the camera switch. So we're getting there.
Really? Dodgers lose 2 of 3 to the Padres. Yeah, it's annoying. Doesn't mean anything. I guess gives them a little bit of pep in their step heading towards a very, very early season exit. Or I guess it'll be a full season exit, but no postseason. General takeaways on that, and then let's dive into some Pepiot thoughts, because not the greatest start, but there are things to like out of it.
Yeah, overall, it's not the result you wanted, but I think it was still a great opportunity for guys to grow, guys to continue to get that valuable experience. I've said it for a couple of weeks now that some of these younger players, they're going to learn more by failure at this stage of the season, because they've had some success early on. You want to see them get it to where...
Noel, did you know this? Technically, it was much earlier. They all had children at the same time, so it would have been at the... Okay, sorry. We could have let it go, but we were not going to let it go. It's a Thursday.
All right. So anyways, you look at this team. Padres, of course, their
mad.
team is not going to have a good year. They're one of the most disappointing teams in baseball history. We already know that. But I do think when you talk about Ryan Pepiot, the difference with that start and the ones we've seen is he was getting the results. When he took that perfect game into the 7th inning, you weren't seeing as much swing and miss. Last night, you were seeing more swing and miss. You saw him strike out the side there in the 1st inning. He just made some bad pitches. He made 4 mistakes, and unfortunately, the Padres, they capitalized on all those mistakes. And I think that Ryan Pepiot is going to go back and understand that, hey, you can't leave a fastball middle to a hitter like Juan Soto. He's going to hit that out every single time. And in the postseason, for Pepiot to stay effective and stay on the mound, he has to avoid that. So a lot of times you see pitchers, they're going to miss their spots, but sometimes it's a foul ball, right? Sometimes it's a ground ball.
He doesn't have that kind of stuff. He doesn't necessarily always have the swing and miss. Gotta
doesn't
hit your spots.
He doesn't always have the swing and miss, but he's pounding. He pounded the zone last night. And if you look at that strikeout to walk ratio, 22 Ks to 2 walks across 27 innings. That's very impressive. You look at the pitch to Campusano that he hit for the 3-run home run. That caught too much of the plate. But both of those home runs on 0-2 counts just had issues finishing him off right there. And it's another one for you guys, okay? But
I was gonna leave it.
yeah, so look, I think for him, if you can get the chase, if you can pound the zone, I think really that's what's most important. He needs to be consistent. I think at this point, they really have. He's not a luxury; he's a necessity. They need him to step into this role and find a way to contribute any way he can. But I do think if you're Pepiot and you look at his start last night, I think you can feel really good about that. And you look at, just some of where they were on the grid right there as far as the pitch location, a little off, but the swing and miss being there to me was very encouraging.
Yeah, there was nothing I saw. Admittedly, wasn't paying the most attention to last night's game. It didn't mean a damn thing to me. But from what I saw, I didn't see anything that said, hey, this guy is not postseason ready. And yeah, he is a need, but but he also he would be a solid addition even if the team didn't need him. I'd rather see him over a Michael Grove, over a Gavin Stone at this point in the season. And honestly, maybe that one bad start is a good thing for him. Gives him something to kind of build off of, and you see what happens if you aren't on your game, if you don't hit your zone, if you don't hit your spots, the way you're supposed to. If your command isn't there, you're gonna have a bad time.
100%. I think
it gets worse in the postseason.
For sure. You're going to face hitters on big stage and big moments. You have to go out there and execute pitches. And I think for Pepiot, there were some loud outs yesterday. There were some at-bats where you like the fact that he was getting chased, and he was putting away hitters, too. And you saw some strikeouts with that slider. I do think one thing that they're going to go back and look at the sequencing is, yes, we know that changeup is nasty. We know that he's been living in the zone more with that fastball, but you got to go with that slider. That slider emerging is going to be the key to his success, because I think against really good teams, there's this thing in sports where when you do something that they don't expect you to do, then okay. But when teams start to expect you to do that, and then you have to go out there and replicate that success, that's when it gets difficult. So I don't think that Pepiot is going to sneak up on opponents. They're going to be studying film, studying the iPad, and they're going to know when, okay, might be sitting on a fastball here, might be sitting on a changeup here, and that's where you have to mix things up. So I think the next big step for Ryan Pepiot is going out there and continue to hone in that slide and continue to refine that process. But yeah, the swing and miss was better. The chase was better. They just took advantage of 4 missed pitches, and you're not going to see that.
Final thoughts on Pepiot before we throw to Noah and see what's going on in the comments. Dave has mentioned, Dave Roberts, Dodgers manager, if you guys didn't know. He's pretty good at his job. He's mentioned that the Dodgers, thank you. He's mentioned that, with where the team is at right now, they're not 100% certain or set on what Pepiot's role is going to be. Of course, it's kind of Dodgers. It's kind of Dave Roberts talk. I'm pretty sure they know he's going to be that Game 4 guy unless they need to go to a Bobby Miller or something on short rest, whatever it may be. But he's going to be that guy. And whether it's as just an opener or a bulk role or whatever, but he will be pitching in that game at some point. But either way, I think he has a role fairly locked up.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's fair to say at this point that he's going to be in that rotation or somewhere in the bullpen. I think we could see Pepiot deployed similar to what we saw some of the rookie pitchers back in 2020. It's not like they went out there and said, okay, we're going to just start Dustin May and have him run with this. Start Gonsolin, let him run with it, right? You saw them mix in those rookies sandwiched in between Buehler and Kershaw and Julio Urias. So it's going to be very unorthodox. It's not going to be traditional. But I think right now they're just trying to identify stuff-wise, are they trending in the right direction? The reality is, from when he started, when he returned back on the mound from that oblique injury where he missed over 3 months, he has shown progress. I think the swing and miss is encouraging. I think the big key for him is having confidence in that fastball, because he's a guy that when the command isn't there, he tends to nibble. When he has the confidence, he's aggressive in the zone. He's got all the shapes, man. He has all the goods, and that's what this Dodgers team is looking for. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle him in the NLDS, if that becomes a deep series, if it goes 4 or 5 games, because at that point, you're going to see them mixing and matching quite a bit. And look, the reality is in Major League Baseball at this stage, in a postseason run, last year, teams averaged just over 5 innings per start from their starting pitcher, and that was up from over 3.6, right? You were talking about under 4 innings per start from starters. So it's going to get wacky. It's going to get weird. It's increasingly becoming a bullpen game. And the most important thing is Pepiot does look like a guy that's going to be a dude.
Hey, this is a team that has had a lot of success going to bullpen games, having openers and whatever. And this is a team that can mix and match probably better than anybody in the league. So I'm not necessarily opposed to that. All I want is to bring home that piece.
27 outs, man.
No, what's going on in the chat?
A lot
over
of
there,
good
Chief?
stuff. We got a lot of good stuff. We're going to start up here with UFC Guru Official said hit that like button. So
that's a good
very
point.
right about UFC
What do we
Guru
need?
Official.
What do we need? So
We're
how
going
many
to, you know what?
likes?
It's an off day. Not expecting much. We're going to
Okay.
say 200 likes in the stream, and the Dodgers will sweep the Mariners.
The
Okay?
Dodgers will
200
sweep the Mariners.
200. It's not even
That's
that
not
high.
asking for much.
I'm not asking
okay?
for a lot. 200
400
likes.
armor leg.
400 likes, and Clayton Kershaw throws a perfect game.
Okay, there it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's what we're asking for. I'm going to keep
5
going.
likes,
Oh,
and
wait a
Doug
minute.
will do a shoey.
No.
Just
Well, speaking of shoe, I have a good transition this time, but I'm not going to do it yet because I got some. Chris Heasley said Dodgers. No, that's not the one. I'm already reading it. So Dodgers need to learn to bunt and play small ball when their home run philosophy doesn't work.
You guys saw that.
Good
Me and
teams
Doug,
can
I was
adjust
just
in big
practicing
games.
bunting before the show.
We
at
were.
work.
We got another one over here. I like
Grisham
this
bunting.
from Fierce Toner 59 said. Losing helps see what holes the Dodgers still have. They can fix the issues when the problems are easier to see. So I do kind of like that. That kind of the glass half full. We got Lance Jennings said, thanks for a great channel and keeping us updated on the Dodgers.
you, Lance.
Like button smashed. Got a few more
Appreciate
here. Another one from Josh Gitt said, pitching won't matter if the lineup doesn't hit and it can't just be Mookie and Freddie, which is what Dave Roberts said before yesterday's game, that, the bottom of the lineup, Will Smith and others, kind of need to.
Middle of the lineup.
Middle of the lineup,
more,
middle
honestly.
to bottom. And then, of course, speaking of middle to bottom of the lineup. Win. So had a
super
really
chat.
good
Yeah,
transition that I
wasted.
decided not to use because I wanted to get to some comments. But Reed Hallett,
Yeah.
$5. Thank you very much, Reed said. Not trying to start a conspiracy, but when the shoeys stopped, the Dodgers started losing. ... Bobby Miller is the dude.
Doug.
Fill the role of Kershaw for sure.
Doug,
I got some shit. Look, if you
Don't-
give
no,
300
don't-
likes, I'll do a shoot.
don't.
300
Okay,
likes,
that's
that's a
fair.
fair
More
deal.
like
fair.
$300.
300 likes. I don't. Hey,
300 likes.
do it for the game. But
He's asking for it. 300 likes, and he'll do a shoey. I don't see it happening today because
makes
it's
me
an off
uncomfortable.
day, but
Makes me
hey,
uncomfortable.
it's not going to happen.
If
Hey,
it-
how
if
did
it-
nobody point out, and this time we've been in this studio together today, that Doug and I are almost kind of dressed the same?
We always do.
Yeah, a little.
I mean, we do, but
You guys
like-
going golfing after this?
Yeah, a little hole in one, if you know what I mean.
By the way, also, why are we wearing Mariners colors when we're about to play the Mariners?
The
Because-
wardrobe
hey,
matches the other team
the
here.
Emerald team.
Hey, in support of George Kirby. You know what? We need more soft pitchers in baseball. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
we definitely do. There you go.
Poor
George
kid.
Kirby.
All right, let's move on a little bit. You know what? Everybody hurts. Kyle Hurt makes his major league debut, and this just in, he was pretty damn good at getting it done. He got the job done. 2 scoreless innings against the Padres, and he came in during game time. I think from what I heard, he read or he watched the Dodgers Nation parking guide to find out how to get into Dodger Stadium and really avoid the traffic and avoid
us.
Gate A, which is what A stands for. Avoid.
A is for avoid.
Yeah, you know.
A
this,
is
I
right?
for
didn't.
avoid.
I didn't know that until I watched the Dodgers Nation. I mean, Tommy Lasorda,
once
Dodgers
called it Blue
legend,
Heaven
once
on
called
Earth.
it Blue Heaven on
Yeah,
Earth.
just saying,
A is for
But-
avoid. Yeah. Forgot the WS slug.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he gets there at like 7 o'clock. He pretty much waltzes in at first pitch, and
He was probably like, hey, where's my jersey? And they were probably like the Hurt Locker.
good night, everybody. I love having tight lines, so I can just kind of get out of frame like that. Anyways, Kyle Hurt, good baseball pitcher boy, and raising some now. I don't know if they're tough questions, but question marks for the Dodgers and for everybody, the Dodgers, as you know, for the postseason roster, because if he can get dudes out, and I mean his first stretch of batters, Soto, Tatis, Machado, I think it was in that order, got him out no problem, and then strikes out the size to finish the ninth inning. Dave Roberts said before his debut, this really doesn't mean anything. He said after his debut, maybe we'll see him again. What's going on with Kyle Hurt? Do you think he could be a sneaky one of those, late September rookies that make a difference in October?
I think at this point, where the expectations are with everything that's transpired this season, with off the field, on the field injuries and whatnot, I think Kyle Hurt, he was absolutely electric. He was absolutely dominant. Like you said, his first taste of big league action is against potential Hall of Famers, right? All-stars. Fernando Tatis Jr. getting soft contact. He pops to second. Soto gets to ground out. Machado gets him to ground to third. I mean, I'm not saying that was as good as Carl Hubble in the 1934 All-Star game where he strikes out 5 straight.
That's so weird
Hall of
because
Famers.
I was just saying to Buddy that
remember,
Carl Hubble had maybe a better debut. Buddy, that's weird.
Really?
I literally, before you got here, we were talking about Carl Hubble.
Babe Ruth.
I mean, what are the odds?
Lou Gehrig.
What are the odds?
Jimmy Fox.
I mean, that's crazy that we both brought up Carl.
Al
Sorry,
Simmons.
you go back, but that's
Joe
crazy.
Cronin.
We both brought up Carl Hubble today.
We hang out a lot, man. We got the similar thoughts. But yeah, just you put him in that situation. Yes, the Dodgers are up big in that one, and it's still your big league debut. And I think I've heard a lot about Kyle Hurt. I've talked a lot to people about him. They tell me how electric he is. But
yeah, we found that out, Doug.
And
we found that out.
And I think for me, I was looking for the explosive strikeouts, right? I was looking for, okay, where's the stuff? But for me, it was the soft contact in the first inning. And then he comes out in that second inning, in the ninth inning to close things out. And he was absolutely electric. He strikes out the side. He gets Cooper's swing on a changeup around the corner. He gets Grisham on a four-seam fastball in the zone, challenges him in the zone, gets Batten on a changeup on the inside corner. What was so impressive to me was, one, just the efficiency. 24 pitches, 19 for strikes. Pretty much just made one bad pitch probably to Grisham. Other than that, he was aggressive in the zone, and that is the difference maker. A lot of these young pitchers, they come up, especially against big league competition, they're going to nibble, right? But not him. You saw the spin, you saw the velocity, and there's a couple reasons why I definitely want to see him getting strong consideration for the Dodgers postseason roster is that type of electricity. That kind of stuff plays up in the postseason, and we've seen that in the past. When you got that changeup fastball combination, when you can locate it the way he can, he was working down the zone with that changeup. I think when you consider the sustained success that he's had at the minor league level, I mean, it's absolutely jaw-dropping. From Double-A to Triple-A, 145 strikeouts.
That's insane.
145 strikeouts, 41 walks, and 88 in the third innings pitch. His 39% strikeout rate and 28% strikeout minus walk rate is tops in all of minor league baseball. So that's not just your, okay, Johnny-come-lately, rando down the minor league level. That is elite. That is great stuff. So that's the first thing. Electric stuff, that will play up. The second thing, he's a secret weapon candidate, right? Opposing hitters, there's no familiarity with him.
Already.
Right? You can see a thumbnail? Dodgers secret weapon. But I'm not going to say he's going to be the next K-Rod. I'm not going to say he's going to be the next K-Rod, but there are some parallels. And the parallels are he's at Double-A, goes to Triple-A. K-Rod, of course, he was 20 years old, so significantly younger, but K-Rod was electric. Youngest guy to ever get a win, had 5 wins out of the pen, 28 strikeouts, and 70 batters he's faced. And that Angels bullpen was absurd. And I think that Kyle Hurt is someone that should definitely deserve some consideration. I mean, you look at him and the fact that he has the perfect name for a Dodgers pitcher because he's always hurt. So I look at this guy and what he can bring to the table, Clint. I definitely think that the eye test. It's the feel of the eye test.
There was an eye test there. That was a man that was hungry and not the way Lance Lynn is. And hey, that's a fat guy making a fat joke for you, so it's not racist. But that was a guy who really wanted to show. You just noticed.
I can't stop looking at the color.
Yeah, yours is a little more like aqua.
Yeah,
they're not the same color at all.
For both of us to be like
in a shade of blue. Actually, yeah, I get. Honestly, it kind of looks like with the middle comments, it kind of looks like you guys are like forming into like this. How dare you?
This is great. This is great for like the audio side of the podcast. We're wearing like greenish, bluish shirts.
Yeah, one of them's like aquamarine, and one of them's like Dodger blue.
It's fuchsia. I don't know what color that is.
Fuchsia's like pink purple.
You would know.
I know.
You would.
I dabble in colors.
What I'm saying is you're very cultured.
You like magenta, so. I can get to the comments here.
Even get me started. No, because I want to talk about Kyle Hurt. That changeup was filthy. It was disgusting. It was nastier than you would say maybe a Coachella restroom.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
That's pretty nasty.
I'm just saying. It was filthy, but
That's
another
awesome.
thing they say in the postseason, if you want the dub, you got to get the punch. And that's a dude who He also gives the bullpen a lot of optionality, because something Dave Roberts, something this front office loves, because he can give you depth. He can give you 3, 4, 5 innings if you need out of the bullpen in an emergency, or he could be a lockdown dude where if they need to go to Brewstar early, maybe you throw him in the 8th inning in a weaker run of batters. So he is very intriguing, and if you're hitting a point where, looking at the bullpen, Joe Kelly didn't have the greatest of outing. You don't know if he's going to be hurt. You get a guy hurt, he goes to your turn to hurt. I'm just saying.
I want this.
Put your best dudes on the roster. You already are playing at enough of a disadvantage with an injured or not 100%, maybe not even 80% Clayton Kershaw. You don't have Walker Buehler. You don't have a Julio Urias. You have a whatever the hell you're going to get out of BP Lance Lynn, depending on what his outing is going to be like. You need some help. And everybody hurts sometimes. That's the last one.
Hey, he's gonna leave batters with hurt feelings. So I'm gonna say. But hey, Clint, what I wanted to say to you is this though.
Doug McCain,
is
everybody
for
hit
me,
that thumbs up.
The reason why I'm more into this idea is because I don't want to label this season as a failure. Of course, it's always World Series or bust, World Series or bust, which is ridiculous because the team, no team wins a World Series every year. But I think the more opportunities you give some of these young players just to see what you have, just to see what they have on a big stage, to me, I don't think I can label this year as a failure, because I think getting Bobby Miller valuable experience. You could get Ryan Pepiot experience, Emmett Sheehan, guys like Kyle Hurt, and you could build a core for the future. Just look over in Anaheim, look over in San Diego. I think we know now that you cannot build World Series champions on just purchase talent, on big names. You need talent on the margins. You need to develop your own talent, right? You need your own ingredients, right? So that's why I'm very intrigued by this idea. And I just want some excitement. I want to see Kyle Hurt come up and be a big part of this. And I'm telling you, that stuff plays. That's going to play at this level.
And in 20, what did they do? They had
Soft
their
contact.
Veterans, but they also still had a relatively young Dustin May pitching in any role. They had Tony Gonsolin. We didn't really know much of anything about Brusdar Graterol, who played such a big role. They were unknown commodities at that point, and it helped them to win.
To their advantage, for sure.
It really is. No, what's going on in the chat there, Chief? By the way, hold on. I gotta point out. Doug here said that teams don't win the World Series every year. Listen, in my MVP baseball 2004 run of dominance, 10 World Series in a row. I'm just saying.
That's a dynasty. That's a dynasty. That's a dynasty.
Right.
A dynasty?
If you had Pablo Sanchez from Backyard Baseball, maybe, but I don't know.
Have you ever mentioned him before?
I made my own guy. I had a pitcher. Actually, I had an outfielder and I had a pitcher. There was Bill Ball and there was John Ball. That's his brother.
The Ball brothers.
Yeah, the Ball brothers. They were
OG Ball brothers.
No.
Ball in the family.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here. We're going to start with Brandon Garibay said Kyle Hurt needs to come back. And then again, he said bring Kyle Hurt back. So Brandon's big on Kyle Hurt.
It can't hurt. It can't hurt. Come on, man. Just read. I was going to read. I was going to talk behind. Okay. Now I'm on an island over here.
I.E. Doyer said Hurt is our future closer market. We got a few comments about the hat. Anthony Keene said, D-Mac, that hat is fire.
That is a good hat. Where'd you get the black one?
Wait a minute.
Series
Matthew
Madayag
said, yeah, D-Mac, how do we cop the cap?
Well, the
using the right logo?
thing.
Okay, good. You're using the right logo.
So I'll keep you guys up. I'll keep you updated, but unfortunately, we can't sell because it's Dodgers, right? It have to be a DN version, but
giveaways.
We'll see what's up. We'll figure something out.
We'll give them away in exchange for
pretty
money.
clean though. Pretty clean.
We got another comment from Anthony Keene said, call me crazy, but I think the rookie thing is going to work out for us. Familiarity is a hitter's best friend, and no one's going to be familiar with our rotation. I mean, it's fair. I mean, Kyle Hurt comes up and just mops down, like I said, 3 future Hall of Famers.
2.0, baby.
Okay, we got that
phrase, one. Mops down?
Mop down. Like you just mop them down. All right, then we got Jason Diamond.
You would mow somebody.
Well, I like to mop. I like
mop
to keep things clean.
Mop up is like Noah's
Jason Diamond said, everybody hit the like button. Okay, all right. Jason Diamond said, everybody hit the like button so D-Mac does a shoey.
Let's go.
And
Jason knows what's
while
up.
we're here,
win.
Doug dance.
What's that other song that they play after the Dodgers score a hit a home run?
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, let's go. I don't know, man.
That's
anybody
good.
that knows anything.
I don't go to games. So.
Should play the Macarena or something.
You still hear the games, right?
I'm kind of working
Anyways,
too
let's
hard.
hear the super chat and then
Michael Carrillo. Chances we sign Jung-Hoo
potential.
Lee or Yoshi Yamamoto.
Sorry, what's that? What's the names?
Chances we sign
Oh.
Jung-Hoo Lee and Yoshi. I thought his name was.
I thought Yamamoto. Yeah, I thought one. He has a different name.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
not
think it's
100% sure.
Yoshi.
I've honestly not paid that much attention to the international market
It's Yoshinobu.
names yet. Yoshinobu, is that what it is?
Oh, so Yoshi's a nickname. All right, we're good with Yoshi. Michael, we're good with Yoshi.
Okay.
Doug.
I mean, it could be posted. Of course, the Dodgers are a team that's always in the mix, and they theoretically need pitching, especially with Julio Urias gone. Clayton Kershaw could retire. Shohei Ohtani, he's going to be out next year from pitching. So, yeah, it's all possible, but I haven't really heard too much as far as the likelihood of that happening, but it's the Dodgers, man. If they like what they see, if they like what they see, they definitely will be all about him. I love him. I mean, he's definitely, you guys know how we love our Japanese, our international pitchers, and he's been phenomenal for years now. So be very interesting. I think if they want to go that direction, I mean, Blake Snell, there's a lot of guys that are going to be free agents, and you could also consider pursuing that trade market next season. But yeah, it'll be very interesting. Kodai Senga, of course, he last year he signed with the Mets on that $75 million deal. It does feel like it is time that we get one of those international signings. So yeah, at the moment, it'll be very interesting. But my gut doesn't say too much right now, to be honest.
Yeah. By the way, that was Michael Carrillo, $2. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
the
Michael.
super chat.
Cool.
And then really quickly, Jack Fidel said, if you want the dub, you got to listen to Clint and Doug.
There we
Listening
go.
There we
in
go.
from Hornitos,
That's
California.
Is that, dare I say, a Hornito shot
Dun,
taker
dun,
of the
dun,
day?
dun, dun.
Thank you. It was Jack?
Oh, wrong one.
He said it was Jack.
There
it
we
is.
go.
He said it was Jack.
That was Jack Fidel.
Jack Fidel, number one in our hearts, just like Hornitos. Drink fresh, drink Hornitos, drink responsibly. Doug, that's your favorite, right? Look, we're over here sipping on.
Someone told me I was drinking canned Hornitos.
Yeah, this is apple juice. What
That
are you
isn't a
talking about?
can.
This is, you
but
know what? This is the
I
first time
know.
having the watermelon one. It's actually pretty good. Get these at your local supplier.
That one's real. Speaking of local suppliers, Lorenzo Gaddis, $4.99.
Lozo.
This one's topical. He
Oh.
said, "Remember when I went off on getting Max Scherzer before the trade line because he already quit on us once. So glad we didn't get him."
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for the super chat.
$4.99, by the way. Thank you very much,
$4.99
Lorenzo Gaddis.
I don't have very much to say. I had a tweet ready to fire off, but I'm so like turned off on Twitter and having anything that's borderline incendiary because some people will be like, "Oh, he did pitch in September." Duh." Yeah, but listen, it's like, it kills the point of the joke. Is that, you know, what better name a more iconic duo than Max Scherzer quitting on his team's late in season?
That
But I
would've
can
been
say
fire.
it here, you know.
Yeah.
People don't watch this. Oh crap! It says we have a bunch of people on here. Oh. You want to say anything?
I mean,
bad
look,
about him?
Max Scherzer, he's someone that I'll just be flat out honest with. I mentioned as a potential name the Dodgers could pursue. You would hope that the Dodgers got him. They would have done a better job finding a way to keep him on the mound. There's always that. And look, the reality is anytime you got some of these aging pitchers, especially ones that want to throw high velocity, this is something that does happen. See more questions about Yamamoto. But yeah, I mean, that's a good example. You want to go younger, right? And like that's why Andrew Friedman was scouting a pitcher like Yamamoto. So I think when it comes to these older guys, really the recipe is you got to get them with very few years left on their contract. And yeah, Scherzer, he does feel like someone that is a very difficult, tough cookie to kind of deal with in your organization. And I think that if you want to look at the Dodgers this season as dodging a bullet by potentially bringing him in, there you go. So you can feel good about that.
My other thought immediately was, "Whoo, dodge that one." Honestly,
Yeah.
We dodged.
that was the first thing I had. By the way, you're getting called out from Michael Carrillo. Says, Doug, you didn't talk about Jung-Hoo Lee.
Yeah, I mean, the same situation. I think that, look, the reality is the Dodgers are in the market for
Dodgers.
pitching. The Dodgers are in the market for pitching, and they're going to find a way to solidify this rotation. If you look at next season, I think it's already pretty clear who's going to be at the front of that rotation with Bobby Miller, with Walker Buehler, and then we kind of go from there. I think there's a lot of young talent in this organization that I think that when it comes to paying a premium, as far as aside from the contract goes, I mean, you're looking at possibly bringing in guys that are expensive, and then you have a lot of talent coming up the pipeline. So, yeah, I think one of those guys, you're going to see the Dodgers linked to all of them. That's always the case. Will they like them enough to want to outbid and really be aggressive? I mean, that's the thing. And you also have to consider the fact that the Dodgers as an organization, they're always going to be an attractive location for international pitchers. We've seen, all the way from Nomo to Chanho. The list goes on and on for their rich history. So, like I said, I definitely want to see one of those guys in Dodger blue. I would love to see them both, just selfishly, but we'll see what transpires. But the reality is the Dodgers have scouted them. Andrew Friedman, I remember before the World Baseball Classic that Friedman was in attendance for Yoshi. So, yeah, I think they're going to do their due diligence. If they like what they see, there's mutual interest there. It could happen. But what you do need to know is that this rotation next year, especially after what happened with Julio Urias and the fact that he wasn't going to be back in the first place, Ohtani not being available, it's going to look very different. And they're going to want some frontline guys because you still have Mookie and you'll still have Freddie. So I don't think that this team is going to take their foot off the gas when it comes to acquiring starting pitchers. So another big reason to watch the postseason to see what we have in the Bobby Millers of the world.
Important update as well. I.E. Doyer helps me out. Thank you. With the song they play. It's Forearm Shiver. You can hear it in the words.
People are saying it's from SpongeBob.
Well, this apparently is an original version that is Autumn Thunder for somebody, Sam Spence.
Yeah, it's that NFL song, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I like that one, so I want that to be the new.
Well,
Super
everyone was
Chat
saying
money.
it was from SpongeBob. Also.
You guys want that to be the new Super Chat? Hey,
we can't do that. We can't do that. We're gonna get.
Yeah,
we're
you trying to get us DMCA'd right now? You trying to get Lars Ulrich in
might
here to
like
like
be-
literally break our?
More like DMAC.
Oh!
Is
Mash that thumbs up button so he can do a shoey and etc. Finally, real quick, as we it's clearly an off day Thursday show because we're just over here dicking around.
Vibing. Wait, how do I do that?
Yeah,
like
Cody would be ready.
Say it again.
I like the show.
Dicking around.
Come on, man. You didn't say the whole thing.
We are just over here around. Thank
Let's
you.
go.
Listen, he's new. He's new to buttons. He doesn't understand technology. He has a person that does it all for
All
him.
right.
Walker Buehler speaks for the first time. I mean, not the first time. I'm sure he's spoken
First
a
words.
lot since they shut him down or since it was decided to shut him down. But he spoke with reporters for the first time since being shut down and kind of talking about the reasons why. And yeah, the illusion was there that which is not a word, by the way. Yeah, the bounce back wasn't that great, and that was enough to be like, look, we tried. You did your best. Good job, buddy, but we'll see you in February. The right call. That's the right call for Buehler. We already talked about that, but I know you had a couple more thoughts on Buehler and just what he said. And Doug's brain hears one thing, it becomes about 6 or 7 different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that
it's frightening, really.
It was really interesting to hear Walker Buehler's comments because we had both talked about that. We both said that it probably wasn't a setback. It was the bounce back. It was the recovery time. And you're talking about a postseason start is very different from a spring training start and a regular season start. And the fact that he would take up that roster spot and require that additional recovery time. He mentioned that as one of the reasons why he didn't return. So the fact that he was even flirting with a return when you consider the recovery time, 13 months after having that Tommy John surgery, it was already an impressive feat. But I like what he said when he was asked if he felt good enough to help this team out of the bullpen. He said, "Have you seen my numbers as a reliever? I don't think that's something that I really can do at this level that guys that can do that we have." So I think that was very interesting. So he has an 11.32 ERA out of the pen, by the way. But I think Walker Buehler in general is
2017, by the way,
in a great place. And I think that he's going to be fine. And I think that something that I want to see the Dodgers consider this offseason is possibly trying to get an extension done. I think that an extension with Walker Buehler this offseason, you might want to consider that. The club, they could buy out a year free agency. They could agree to not give him a qualifying offer when he does reach free agency, and they can offer him a player option in 2026. So that's what I want to see. Player option 2026. That gives Buehler some protection, like if he has a Dustin May type of injury, right? So you give him an extension, give him the opt-out, give him an option. I think that's something that could be a possibility. I think
the opt-out definitely makes it attractive for both sides.
It makes a ton of sense. And I think that there's no doubt about it. I have zero doubts that I think, one, he's going to come back and he's going to be better than ever. I think that you look at this stage of his career, he's still young enough. Look at Nathan Eovaldi. He came back and he helped that Red Sox team in 2018. Took him a while. There's no doubt about that. But from a velocity and stuff standpoint, he did return to form. He signed 2 more pretty nice deals. It's not like his career was over. And also, I want to bring up John Smoltz. So John Smoltz, it was later in his career, right? But John Smoltz, he came back. He had Tommy John surgery, and then he had his first full season as a closer in 2002, led the league with 55 saves, and then he transitioned back to being a starter. So I think it's all possible. I think
You're only, 250 player in baseball history right there, I think. I think it's 250. I don't remember.
Yeah, first guy to get Tommy John and make it to the Hall of Fame, right? So there are guys that have had success. I mean, look at Verlander, of course, one-time Tommy John, but that's later in his career. He wins the Cy Young. Daniel Hudson, he had the procedure twice in just a span of 2 years. He comes back, makes it out of the bullpen. But Nathan Eovaldi is the one name that he said Walker Buehler has reached out to him. He's communicated with him and that he's kind of focused on as far as kind of inspiration. But Jameson Taillon, remember Chris Capuano, right? Old friend. So back in the day. So there has been plenty of examples of these pitchers coming back, especially with the modern medicine and Dr. Neil Elitrox, the best in the business, to return to form and be the ace. And I think, one, Walker Buehler is going to be the Dodgers opening day starter. And I think, two, he's going to have himself a hell of a year and go on to have multiple All-Star years even after this. Hey, Tommy John himself, he came back, and more than half of his career was after that original Tommy John surgery. Dr. Frank Jobe told Tommy John they had a 1 in 100 chance to ever pitch again, and look what happened. So just my initial thoughts is, feeling good that it was the right decision for the organization and the player. Made a ton of sense, but I would explore an extension because I think at some point, Andrew Freeman, it's great to go out there, have the flexibility to go out and get a Mookie Betts and a Freddie Freeman, make deals at the deadline, develop your own talent, and have them go through arbitration and have them walk. But I want to see one of these homegrown Dodgers stay in Dodger blue.
That would be interesting. It's been a while. It's
been a
whole long while. Clayton Kershaw, kind of the last guy who's been that guy. Switch gears. Let's shift gears a little bit here. Noah, why don't you tell us about something exciting that's going on with our friends over at Mojo?
Yeah, we got Noah Cam right here. So really quickly.
Oh, Noah Cam. I get it.
That's actually fun. Okay, I've been telling you guys about Mojo for the last couple episodes, and we got a nice big update here. So I need you to download the Mojo app. The link is in the description below. Code DN2023 will get up to $100, 100% of your deposit match up to $100. So you put in $100, you'll get $200. And there are going to be tons of contests going on. Funny. We're going to have a special Dodgers Nation contest, which you'll see at the top of the screen on like the browse page of the Mojo app.
Oh, sweet.
And it's going to be really cool. So you're going to enter the contest. It's going to be called In the Green. And that means all you have to do is be positive in the contest. So just make even 1 cent and you'll win some of the prize. So it's going to be a $10 entry. So there's going to be $500 in the prize. And then Mojo's going to match $500. That's a $1,000 prize. And all you got to do is stay in the green on your bets, and you'll see it's really easy. It's like stocks. You can buy or sell. You can trade as you play, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be playing. We're going to have kind of Dodgers Nation picks, which are our favorite picks, but you want to choose what you like. It's all going to be player prop bets, anything like that. So highly recommend downloading Mojo, code DN2023 when you deposit $100. Join the contest, and we're going to be doing our own type of contest on the shows too, where maybe we'll do giveaways for the people who win. So make sure you get your username and kind of are joining in the fun on the Blue Heaven podcast, because we're going to be giving away our own stuff on top of what Mojo's giving away. So we highly recommend you download it, play around with it a little bit. This contest is going to run tomorrow. So a Friday, September 15th contest. You'll see Dodgers Nation contest on the Mojo app. So
easy.
There's no reason to not do it.
Again, download, click the link in the description of this video. That's the best way to do it. And use that code DN2023, and you can join us. You can join Noah. He's our resident Mojo expert, our Mojo expert.
Mojo's fun. I mean,
Mojo expert? Is that
Mojo expert? I don't like that.
No,
it's great. I love it.
But Mojo's a lot of fun. It's like if you like stonks and you like baseball or sports, this is the best of both worlds, and it's cool because you can like buy or sell in the middle of.
Are you selling?
I'm buying, if anything.
This guy's
Speaking of
buying.
selling.
Oh! Don't worry, I got this.
You win. There goes the DMAC, the DMAC.
Damn it. John YouTube is coming after me now.
We got 2 super chats. First one's from Grumpy45 Dino.
Grumpy.
Honestly, a fair question. You said, with Julio gone, are we done with the City Connects?
I messed up here.
Honestly, it's a fair question. I don't know.
Hey, his final start, they didn't do the City
They
Connect.
didn't do him for that one.
But it also got pretty absurd how every
start.
He liked it. But no, I mean, I think that's a Nike thing, a MLB thing, and they do sell a good amount of them. I was actually at the Clubhouse store, I don't know, a few months ago, and I asked them, like, do these sell well? And they're like, yeah, I mean, these sell. People really go out there and buy them.
Yeah, the 23 update was a lot better. I like that one. When did those start? Was it last year or 21?
I think So
I mean,
22.
the people
it was 22. It was last year.
All right, people in the
No.
chat are smarter than us. They'll
Yeah, one of you guys tell us.
yeah, they'll figure it. Anthony Keene.
let's
Oh
hear
wait, no,
Wait,
that
I
wasn't
got one
Keene.
more-
I was
one
gonna
more.
say Jason
SC.
Diamond is saying, Doug, just do a shoey already. No, we didn't hit.
We're not
the
anywhere
criteria.
near the criteria.
What do we need?
Yeah, it's like Isaiah Thomas
didn't meet
not
the
meeting the criteria. Yeah, we
criteria.
both made that shit.
Word.
Synergy.
El Pepe de
oh,
Pepes.
Pepidepidus. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I like that more. I'll be honest, I don't get this one. $2. What position did Bruce Wayne play Bat Boy?
How do you not
my
get
gosh.
that?
I don't know.
How do you not? Because Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, wait. How does Bat Boy become a Batman? He has a bat mitzvah.
It's actually, it would be a bar mitzvah for a boy. So,
I mean, I thought about it in the spot.
Can I leave?
did you actually just think about that on
Can
the
I just-
spot?
can I
Oh,
just
that's actually
leave?
pretty impressive.
I
though.
He
mean-
did not. He did not.
Yeah.
that is like an old bad joke.
Yeah,
I've
you've
never-
definitely been
on.
workshopping that one.
He's selling right now. That's
Yeah, you're
what's going
capping, you're wilding, you're selling.
on. It feels like it's been a while since we've done like an off day show, and we haven't really had an off the rails. It's been very straight, shooter shows.
This is pretty straight. Is it? It's pretty on
Just
track.
stay silent. It'll make it very uncomfortable. Anyways, appreciate the super chats. Bat Boy. It's good. That's a good joke. I like
love
that.
that's good
I
stuff.
like that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
he had to get a job.
that was
'cause-
actually funny. Now that I get it.
You know what happens when you got to get a job because parent murder.
Ooh,
Why are you laughing?
Why'd you say that?
that's some Dark Knight humor.
You,
Oh, that's actually okay. Let's get
all
back
right,
on the
let's.
Dodgers.
What are we talking about? The Dodgers. You want to talk about Dodgers? Let's talk about 5 questions we have as we get into 17 games left. So we got 2 weeks and a couple pennies left before October time. Well, even though the series season finale is in October, it's October 1st. What are your 5? What are our 5 questions we got to really figure out for this team? I feel like they're obvious, but maybe some aren't as obvious.
Yeah, so the division's wrapped up. This team's winning that. We understand that. But at this point, there are 5 big questions, I think, that we need answered before the postseason begins. And the first one, this one's massive. This one's huge. And it's the health of Clayton Edward Kershaw. We know he's been dealing with the shoulder issue all year. The velocity was down to 88 miles per hour in his last start. That was the lowest since 2018. Back in 2018, that was followed by an IL stint with a back injury. They keep pushing his start back. Dave keeps saying that it's to line his starts
schedule.
up with the postseason.
Which-
If you look at it, does make
There's
sense.
some smoke to me on that one. Yeah.
That does make sense. But I mean, I do think it'd be nice if Dave Roberts learned these 2 valuable words, just no comment. I mean, it would be kind of awesome at some point. But yeah, you look at the remainder of the schedule, he's probably going to make.
Dave's kind of the I got this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got
Let me
this.
just
Let me help you out
some
here.
word vomit right there.
That would
Little
also
word
kind of
salad.
be D-Mac also, if we're gonna be honest.
What?
I feel like you would do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for sure.
You would just kind of word vomit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I mean, if you look at the remaining schedule, you
That
have
thumbs
3
up button.
starts: Mariners, Giants, and the Rockies. The Dodgers, they would host Game 1 of the NLDS October 7th. So I think that right now, with the way Bobby Miller keeps trending, you got Ryan Pepiot. I mean, I don't see him as a Game 1 starter or anything like that. Hey, we're going to see if Clayton Kershaw is ready to go. And if he is able to get on the mound, what Clayton Kershaw are we going to see? So that to me is really the number one thing I'm looking for in the last couple weeks of the year is when Kershaw's back on that mound, how does he look? How's the velocity look? How is the command? Do you have the bite on the slider? Do you have the Uncle Charlie? Is he laboring out there? How's he bouncing back after starts? Because look, we could be looking at a situation where if Kershaw is unable to go, you basically got Lance Lynn and a bunch of rookies, right? Yeah. So they need Kershaw more than they ever did for them to really have a chance in this postseason. And I think that is absolutely pivotal. It's the $1 million question right now for the Dodgers is the health of Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, you need to have Kershaw. You need to have that veteran starter, one more veteran starter, because they have enough pitching when it comes to the rookies, when it comes to the bullpen, to make it through the NLDS. I don't have any doubt in their ability to get through the NLDS this time through. Last year, they ran into a buzzsaw that they started, but even without somebody like a Kyle Hurt or whatever, they can get through that. But when you don't have Kershaw into the NLCS, then you're going to start having some trouble. And we saw that in 21 without a healthy Walker and without a healthy or available Max Scherzer.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I mean, it seems like you get close to the finish line, then
Kershaw.
something happens
And
with the
Kershaw.
pitching. And look, 2020 pitched well in the World Series, didn't pitch well in the NLCS. 2021, there was that scene against the Brewers where he's walking off the mound holding the ball, and the entire Dodgers universe thought that was symbolic of him ending his career. He didn't pitch in that series. So you look at last season, right? I mean, he didn't really pitch that great in Game 2 of the NLDS, gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, gave up that home run to Manny Machado. So you need him to not only pitch well early, but to really carry throughout. They're going to have to ride him, and is his body ready to do that at this point? Like I said, I want vintage Kersh, not vintage arm Kersh at this stage of his career. I'm kind of getting some Chet Steadman Rookie of the Year vibes, just like kind of grabbing that arm, grimacing, trying to make one more pitch. So I'm a little concerned.
Also, this is for my old lady. We can't call him vintage Kersh anymore. Let's call him Kersh Classic.
Kersh Classic. There we go.
There you go.
He's a classic
like
car.
that one.
He's a classic
I like
car.
Kersh Classic.
Kersh Classic.
She calls it
I like
Classic Kersh, or Kershaw, but I fixed it. I made it a little more like old school.
That's
He's
that
old.
Kersh
'Cause he's
Classic.
old.
Yeah. So that's going to be the big
Yeah, you gotta
thing.
have Kersh.
Next one, the Dodgers rotation for the NLDS, because you're not going to need a 4-starter until the NLCS. But will they truly give that ball to Bobby Miller? I think everyone's
Yes.
talking about it right now.
Yes.
Will they do it? And that's
Yes.
kind of the big question. I think it's
They're
absolutely.
lining up the starters for it, right? That's allegedly what's going on with Kershaw being pushed back multiple times.
Yeah, all signs are pointing to that right now based on how the current rotation is lined up. But really, outside of Bobby Miller, you got Lance Lynn. If it's against the Braves and it's Lance Lynn, I don't want to see him in the same zip code as that pitcher's mound, right? I want to see him 100 feet away from that pitcher's mound at the very least when you look at how well they can slug. But I think it's going to be really the big question. Is Bobby Miller going to be that ace? Is Bobby going to be him? He's going to be the guy that we've seen continue to emerge this season. Because, look, he's been outstanding, and he's also learned. He's taken his lumps. He's licked his wounds when he's had bad starts. But I think the most impressive thing that I've seen from Bobby Miller of late is he's learning how to get it done when he doesn't have his best stuff. And that, to me, is something that pitchers, it sometimes takes years for them to learn. We've seen Clayton Kershaw do that. When you don't have your A game, can you still be effective? And that is really the art of how to get it done when you don't have your best stuff. And if you look at how deep he's gone, he's completed at least 6 innings in each of his last 6 starts, 7 innings in each of his last 2 starts. So they're building him up, they're ramping him up. But Clint, he's throwing, look at the innings count. I mean, you're talking about uncharted waters. So you look at throwing 101 and 2/3 innings with a 3.98 ERA. Last 9 starts, a 3.59 ERA. He's held opponents to hitting 227 in that stretch. But that's going to be the big question. Can he sustain? Will he hit a wall? Can he be a Fernando Valenzuela like starting pitcher for the Dodgers like we saw in 1981?
Yeah, he's not going to be a Fernando. He's not going to be a Walker Buehler. I hope people don't put that pressure on him. The comp, and it's a loose comp, but it's as far back as my brain can go right now. My comp is somebody like a John Lackey, because Lackey had that in 2002 with the Angels. He had a good run with the big league team. I think he started like 18, 20 games in the regular season. Where the difference happens early is that rotation, Mike Stosur didn't rely on Lackey early in the postseason, but of course he made his mark starting Game 7 of the World Series against the Giants, and he did as well as he could in that game. I think I forgot exactly what it is, but essentially made him a very young legend at 21 or whatever it was. That kind of, if you can get something like that out of Bobby, but you're going to have him starting big games. He's going to have to be a 2018 Walker Buehler and a John Lackey all at the same time for this team to have success. So is it a lot for him? Very, very much. But like you mentioned, you've seen him kind of roll with the punches. He's learned on the job. He hasn't been exceptional, especially, second half, going through teams the second time. But he's been good enough to just get us through 4, 5, 6 innings. This is a better offense, to kind of blow the load a little bit early on. One of the other questions that we have is is this offense going to be able to manage the postseason better than last season? And then this is an offense that I think can fire much better than they did last year, but it's just going to you need a pitcher to keep you in the game. You can't go into a 7-run deficit in the 7th inning, or in the 4th inning, I should say. Keep it a game. Just keep it a ball game. Nice 4.5 ERA in the postseason. you're going to have some success.
Yeah, no, you can't expect. I mean, what Fernando Valenzuela did was insane. 40 2/3 innings in 1981, a 2.21 ERA. That was the record for a rookie pitcher. But we've seen in the history of this organization, young pitchers come up and have success. I mean, look at Walker Buehler in recent memory. How about you go all the way back to 1959? Larry Sherry for the Dodgers. He won World Series MVP, 12 2/3 innings.
The big bucks.
And he just allowed one run. So the history is there, and it tells me I think Bobby Miller's ready for this. By the way, at the event today, it was a tequila event. It was a great event with Adrian Gonzalez.
It was Jim Beam.
And
Hornita.
This Hornita's pretty strong. There's a double shot of Hornitos in here, but
it's 5%, bro.
5%. I'm a little buzzed. Sorry.
He's soft.
But yeah, I mean,
this is apple juice.
You're not going to see them ride a Bobby Miller like a Fernando Valenzuela, right? I mean,
no, nobody knows
that. I asked Adrian Gonzalez today. I said, okay, Adrian Gonzalez, fill in the blank. Dodgers All-Star, Dodgers legend, fill in the blank. The Dodgers will win the World Series if. And his response was,
he looked you in the eye.
He looked me dead in the eye. He said, if Bobby Miller pitches like an ace, if Bobby Miller steps up and bees that, and is that guy, is that him?
Wait, say it again.
If Bobby Miller is a good pitcher of baseballs, dang it, didn't stick the land. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, another thing. So that's going to be huge. It's going to be key. They're going to need, it's going to be a little bit of baptism by fire. But I think if there's one guy that's built for it, it is Bobby Miller. When you look at this stuff, when you look at the way he can navigate lineups now. I think that's something we've learned too, is he's learning how to navigate his way through lineups. And I think that he's shown a lot of improvement. He's continued to grow. He's been a sponge. He's learning from Lance Lynn. He's learning from Clayton Kershaw. And I think that the way everything's kind of broken for him, you talk about a John Lackey, a lot of times when it's a rookie pitcher having success, is out of necessity. And it's about guys stepping up when other guys are injured and you kind of filling those shoes in. Yeah, another interesting thing about Bobby Miller, too, is the road ERA at 3.22, the home ERA at 4.73. So we saw him have success on the road against the Braves. Do you maybe feel more comfortable with a Lance Lynn at home, right? And then you use Bobby Miller on the road. Yeah. I think that's something that I'm for. I've heard some other shows say, oh, you got to have a rookie and he's at home. No. Okay, if you think you're good, and you believe in this guy, it shouldn't matter if it's the gray unis or the white or the wedding gown white unis, okay?
That's fair. That's fair. I personally would prefer to have, you're good here, you stay here. You know, I like putting people in their buckets where they're good. But yeah, and again, different kind of manager.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Now, next
wait. Can I quickly
just jump in? You can read every single one.
I'm not going to read every single one, but I got a few here. Mitchell Hopkins said, I'd give up my hypothetical firstborn child, Thor style, to have 100% healthy Kershaw.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, facts. A little Thor style. We got Anthony Keene said,
I give my born one. Just kidding.
Why would you? No one asked you to say that.
There was a little demon in Doug's head that asked him to say it, to be honest.
Anthony Keene said, Lynn going to go 7 shutout innings against the Braves. You heard it here first. Anthony Keene, if that happens, Doug will do a shoey personally dedicated to you, because that would be pretty insane if that happened.
You know, people are asking me to do a shoey now.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's coming.
No. Come on, Clay.
It's coming.
Okay, if we win a World Series. Okay, if we take 2, 3 from the Mariners,
I will buy some garbage Amazon shoes, and it'll be all a lie. I'll be like, oh, look at this shoe I just pulled off of my foot. It's still gonna have a tag on it.
If Freddie gets a hit this weekend.
Okay.
We got a super chat, guys.
Oh!
This one, I already did the thing.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait.
Wait, you said I couldn't do it only to take your laptop and play with it.
I'm different.
We're about to get DMAC'd.
Because the thing is, you'll keep it there for too long, and that's what YouTube's looking for.
Okay, fair enough. Respect.
Jose Ayala. Hurt will put the hurt during October.
I see what he did there.
Some hurt feelings, man. Where's his jersey go? In the hurt locker. Okay.
Yes. We could just end this.
That was a good comment. We appreciate the super chat.
$2.
Who was that?
Ayala.
How much for? How many? We need 1,000 thumbs up for a me shoey.
It'll come one day. Honestly, next year trade deadline.
If Barnes strikes out. No. Okay.
It's at DMAC_LA. I saw another one too. I wanted to read, but then it got lost somewhere in the mix. So that tends to happen. Comments going crazy. Appreciate you guys.
Is Mojo like OnlyFans? No.
Hanging out with us. Gary A says, spoiler alert, Lynn ain't 2002 Lackey. That's for sure.
Well, he's a lot older.
Lynn is like 2002. No, wait, Mark Apier had a pretty good postseason, I think, that year.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who didn't have a hand? It was Apier, right? No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Kevin Apier.
Kevin
That's what I
Apier,
remember. Yeah.
What about Jim Abbott?
That's the
Jim
hand.
Abbott.
Jim Abbott.
Switcheroo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that guy? He didn't have a hand.
Great
he had one
book.
hand.
Great biography.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
No, he had shoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was his whole thing. This other guy didn't. He had one hand, and he pitched a no hitter.
That's really impressive.
Yeah. Should do a video about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Douglas McCain.
Something
here.
you should do a video about. A lot of questions going on. We talked about it a little bit last week, but there's a lot of Mike Trout questions, like what would a trade package look like, blah, blah, blah.
That's a good point.
I think,
have to dive
I think
into
that could be a fun video.
Could
If,
be.
if you guys want to see D-Mac do one of those videos,
Yeah, look, I mean,
drop
I
it in
can
the
just
comments.
tell you.
Say,
I mean, I just
No, that's not what we do here.
okay.
Yeah.
That's not what we do
Okay.
here. We
Look,
want
be
to
on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for that.
Be on the lookout
Be on the
for.
lookout for that.
If you
Draw
guys,
them in.
Tease.
if you guys want it, then comment, say we want that Mike Trout video or something along those lines, and then D-Mac.
Never say
will do
never.
it.
That's all I'm saying.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Justin
point,
Bieber.
Point, Clint,
Justin
point,
For the
Bieber.
win and the block.
So next big question, Clint.
Perfect. Hey, best
Is-
transition we've had.
Who fills up this bullpen? I think right now it's intriguing. It's tantalizing with some of this young talent like Kyle Hurt.
Yeah.
But kind of do they go with the Bulls, do they go with the young Caps, or do they go with a combination of both? And I think that's at the end of the day what they do. I think you look at some of the arms on the fringes. They don't have a lefty that you could say, okay, it's a lights out lefty that we
that's not
trust.
that
I
guy.
mean, Vigon, that's not happening, right? Ferguson, he's had his ups and downs. Alex Vesia, he was impressive this series. He's looked a lot better of late. Last year, didn't have his best moment in the postseason. Gave that hit to Cronenworth. Think it should have gone with the hard stuff. But those are the kind of names on the fridges. And then Emmett Sheehan, what kind of role will he have? Ryan Brazier, of course. That's the trust tree. Kind of the trust tree. You got Evan Phillips, Bruce Dark-Gratterall, Joe Kelly, Shelby Miller. By the way, Shelby Miller, I think one thing people know about Shelby Miller,
So underrated.
so underrated, just has this uncanny ability to get hitters to just freeze and look at strikes. I love that about him. And also, too, if you look at his splits, they're balanced. I mean, righties are hitting 108, lefties are hitting 130. So I don't think this is a situation where you say, okay, we need that lefty to match up with lefties. I think that the way I would assemble this bullpen is saying, okay, where are the arms with the upside? Give me the upside arms. And I think Kyle Hurt can make things interesting. Yancy Almonte, he hasn't been in a good situation this year with the injuries. Did you see enough from him? I don't think so either.
No, he's not going to be
I
anywhere
agree.
near an option. He hasn't earned being an option at this point.
I agree. So I think kind of the narrative, kind of the storyline here is you got vets, but I think it's going to be a lot of young guys. I think a lot of the young. I really do. I really hope at this point, like I said, this year, I don't want to see it feels like they're playing with house money. But if the Dodgers lose this year, I don't think anyone's going to say, "Oh, this team is a bust" and this and that.
No,
sure, the fans are going to say it's World Series or bust. We understand that, but. Look at this opening day rotation. Julio gone. Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin. I mean, Kershaw hanging on by a thread.
Kershaw.
Right? Kershaw.
Michael Grove, gone.
Michael Grove.
He was in the opening day
Where's
rotation.
Grove, by the way?
He was in the opening day
So Grove was supposed
He's
to
at
be
the Grove.
back over the weekend, and they just had. I haven't
Grove.
seen anything from Dave. I'm just.
I
what
saw
I learned
he
is
did a
just
rehab
ignore.
start. He did a rehab start, I think, on September 3rd. A rehab appearance.
Yeah, and that
appearance.
was,
I think
that
that
was
the
a
last,
while ago.
That was the last I heard about him.
So nobody's brought up.
So get those milk
Grover.
boxes ready, and
Because
I don't
he was
know.
somebody that was kind of
He was coming on as a
looking-
reliever.
Yeah, he was looking like
Yeah.
a really, really strong option to be a reliever that could maybe give you 2-3 innings if needed. Like, did Kyle Hurt leapfrog Grove there in the bottom of the or early whatever front of the bullpen trust tree? I guess is what you want to go to eventually.
they're like
got
on the
there.
door. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of words.
Kind of the doorstep, right? They're kind of just hanging out in the front yard. They're not.
But
in
yeah,
the,
this
that
is
tru-
this is
the
a
house.
much better bullpen in my opinion than last year because there are guys in roles. We're not still waiting to see when they're going to punt on Craig Kimbrell and all that. You have a guy who understands the closer role in Evan Phillips, and you have some other guys with, like you mentioned, Shelby Miller. To have him being that eighth
X-factor
inning guy,
type.
he's an X factor guy because you can throw him anywhere against anybody, anytime, bases loaded. And I feel better with him than somebody like Bruce Dar, who relies so much on pitch to contact. And let's be honest, there are some spots in the infield defense particularly maybe at the hot corner side of things, where if there is a play on the infield, it's not going to get made.
No.
It might not get made.
No, 100%. Amen. Preach. Because, I mean, here's a perfect example for you. Last year, Game 2 of the NLDS, Brusdar Graterol, he's on the mound after Kershaw. And what happens in that situation? Soft contact to Trey Turner. He doesn't make the play. It was a Will Myers ground ball.
Happen already
Profar
so
gets
many
the hit,
times just in the second half of the season for Brusdar.
Yeah, the ERA is good.
The ERA is good, but he's
not all
having to throw a
ERAs
lot
are
of
equally.
he's also had to throw a lot of extra pitches because of plays not getting made behind him or either by his own, we'll say, wild defense, but he's an infield defender on his own right. So maybe you shift Rojas a little over to his right a little bit to help cover some ground at third.
He
But
made a great play at third yesterday. Rojas did.
He really did.
He was playing third at the end of the game. He made a sick play.
He's absolutely outstanding. He's a pleasure to watch defensively.
There are times when to add in, and then there are those.
But you're right, though. I mean, look, if you look at Brusdar's numbers.
Sorry, I was just wrecking Noah. There.
No, I love it. I love it. I mean, anytime you can wreck Noah, I'm all
right.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at the strikeout numbers are even more down for Brusdar Graterol this year. But I mean, the results, though, I mean, I don't think anyone's talking enough about the year that he's really had. I mean, he dropped that ERA from a 3.26 ERA to a 1.34 ERA. The expected ERA this year, though, is actually higher. So, of course, you got to look at those predictive stats. I know it gets kind of annoying. It sounds like a broken record when you bring up that stuff, but that stuff matters in the postseason because you're going to see quality of contact really determine outcomes of games. So, yeah, he's absolutely going to be in the mix, but I kind of want to go back to something you said about Evan Phillips. And I think one of the silver linings early on this season with the injury to Daniel Hudson, because he was the guy that was earmarked for that role, to be that closer, and you're going to use Evan Phillips as the fireman, right? The high leverage guy. But he's had an entire year to completely settle into that role. We understand Evan Phillips coming out and getting those final 3 outs. And I think compared to 2020, what happened in Game 4? Kenley faltered, right? I mean, you didn't have a true closer. You had to go to Julio Urias. So to get back to your point about this bullpen being in a better position, I think that's true. I also think this version of Joe Kelly, one of the biggest X factors, I think Shelby Miller 100% is one, as you mentioned. But Joe Kelly, if he can get to anywhere near 100% or at least just make it through this postseason, he's throwing harder than he ever has. Yeah. He's striking out batters at a higher clip than he ever has. He just needs to stay healthy. And last night, the velocity was down 1 mile per hour, right? It was down a little bit. The command was down a little bit. Gave that hit to Tatis there, and they scored on that. But I think for him, it's just getting back into that postseason mode because we need to see a 2018 Joe Kelly. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility. I always say he's kind of like that flaky friend, right? He says he's going to be there, doesn't show up. Because, I mean, look at 2021, the bicep. He just disappears. So he's a massive X factor.
He's missed a lot of time now.
Yeah.
This was only his, fifth game since being traded back. He's already has a bobblehead and slated and all that. It's like we're kind of overdoing the Joe Kelly thing. It's like, oh yeah, he threw up an end and Fernando Tatis in his first game, was a baby about it or whatever. But I
can never get enough of Joe Kelly. I disagree with that one.
I'm a little. He's not. He's like a few branches down on my trust tree. Which is a good thing because that's still better than last year. What did we have last year? A complete unknown in Blake Trinan. You had Yancy Almonte, who had no business being there, in my opinion. And then, Vesia was put in a tough situation and being kind of one of the guys that was trusted and had to be ridden into the ground.
And also you had a Tommy Kahnle, who they were still trying to work back from the injuries. Tommy Kahnle.
That guy.
The Tominator.
I feel used.
The Tominator.
No,
the Tominator.
No, don't bring that back.
No, okay. We're never bringing that back. Actually, Cody told me that's why he left.
Man, that's
literally just called me right.
Is that why? Because
tears in his eyes.
The Tominator, but no, look. Yeah, I mean that's something and they used him on back-to-back nights. So I think that this bullpen, especially with the influx of the youth, I mean guys like Emmett Sheehan, Kyle Hurt gets an opportunity. I mean we'll see what they do. I think one of the more interesting subplots too is what they do with Ryan Yarbrough. And Ryan Yarbrough is someone that is versatile. He's going to be more of a Swiss Army knife for this bullpen. He's someone that you can use in piggyback situations. Yeah. I think something that I'm really intrigued by is Ryan Pepiot goes out there with the changeups, throwing a little harder, and you mix it up and give a different look with the Ryan Yarbrough. Now, the margin for error for him isn't as high. If you look at the velocity, it's low, but he misses barrels, and he can work out of the zone. He keeps it down, gets some chase.
If you want the dub, you got to mitigate the slug. So that is a guy that can 100% do that. But I do very much like this bullpen, and like it's been all season long, the bullpen's success is going to hinge on the starting rotation because the starting rotation has got to give these guys a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
At least 5 innings.
At least five innings. Give me 4 innings.
I think it's going to be
Kersh.
it's going to be all hands on deck. I think every game's going to present its own unique set of circumstances. I think they're going to play the matchups. Like I said earlier, that you saw starting pitcher innings continue to go down, and the reality is it's a lot of high stress innings in the postseason. So I definitely think the depth is there and the upside is 100% there. Now,
and quickly, some love though, because we didn't even mention Ryan Brazier's name, and that's another massive X factor for this bullpen.
Yeah,
because you have Phillips, you have Brazier and Shelby Miller, and then you go down a tier. In my opinion, you go down a tier, and it's still Joe Kelly and Brusdar Graterol. Those 5, that's a pretty damn impressive bullpen. You just need guys to do what they're supposed to do, and then beyond that, you have Caleb Ferguson, Vesia, and Ferguson. Let's be fair, probably an opener option all throughout the postseason.
For sure. And I think kind of going back to Brazier, he has postseason experience.
Which we've already talked about a number of.
He's pitched in 6 postseason series, has a sub-4 ERA. You can't replicate
Series
that.
champion.
World Series champion. I think I have Joe Kelly a little higher than you, though. I think I have Joe Kelly in that first tier. Joe, I'm telling you, this version of Joe Kelly, it's his peak Joe Kelly as far as how hard he throws, the swing and miss. Of course, 2018 was truly performance-wise, but I think potential-wise, if you're not going to get the Joe Kelly that you thought you were trading for, you need lights-out guys, man. You need guys that can miss bats and stuff that can play up, so I think that's going to be big.
The floor of this bullpen much better, though.
Agree 100%. Now, next one really is pretty simple.
Do you have anything bullpen first?
Yeah, bullpen. Go for it.
No.
You're lying?
There's a lot of people talking about trying to be in the next Danny Duffy.
I like that. Alfred.
People aren't happy with trying in. People like Joe Kelly.
Loch Ness Monster
some talk
Danny
about
Duffy.
Muncy
I see
at
the
third
Muncy.
base because you brought up Muncy.
No,
I mean, while we're here,
I didn't say names. I love Max Muncy. I mean,
we got Jeremy 499. Super quickly, maybe we need to get Bobby Miller in a City Connect and see how he. Want to see how Bobby Miller does in a City Connect jersey? Hey, why not? If it ain't,
You look fire in that City Connect. Not gonna lie.
JH, we appreciate the super chat. But not gonna read that one about it. Not the review.
Hot take though, I actually like the blue pants better with the City Connect. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot the
you
messenger.
prefer the PJs, huh?
I like that. I like the Blue Man Group vibe. But so next big question. Why don't we stay on that topic of Max Muncy? Is the defense? I think top to bottom, the defense is better this year, especially in the outfield when you got. I think you got the infield with Miguel Rojas, of course, is a massive upgrade to Trey Turner. First base, you got a Gold Glover in Freddie Freeman. But the third base position with Max Muncy, could he cost this team a game in the postseason? I mean, we saw last year a chopper by Ha-Seong Kim in the NLDS had hurt them. I mean, your answer is yes to that. I think that's going to be very interesting. To me, he's a DH playing third base right now.
He's a second baseman.
With the restricted shift, though, I'm not so sure.
That's fair. Like Max is in a tough spot because what he's doing, I applaud what he's doing. He is playing out of position because and he's filling a need for the team, and he's doing it well. But he's doing it like A-chip softball, not championship, world championship MLB well. Like it's a very much a concern where. If I'm cheating a little bit here and I'm looking ahead at my 3 biggest concerns or whatever it is heading into the postseason, it is third base. And I know, and it's not for a lack of effort. It's not for a lack of trying because we know he's putting in the work. And at this point, I hope he doesn't listen because I don't want to add to putting in, bad thoughts into his head. I do feel bad even talking about it, but we got to talk about the reality of this isn't an area of concern. Everywhere else on the field is going to make an out 99 times out of 10. But if we're looking at 95 out of 10 or out of 100, you guys know math. I'm great at it. We were doing 95 out of 100. That those 5 can cost the Dodgers a ring.
I mean, it's something you have to look at. I mean, we saw in 2020
the worst
double
part is
play.
There's nothing they could do about it at this point, too.
There's nothing.
And his offense does help offset that. Because he is an addition to the lineup, but defense wins championships.
It does, and it's important. And then look, we've seen teams in the past in this Dodgers organization that, I mean, as far as 2020 goes, I mean, there were a lot of big defensive plays that won them. I mean, Mookie in the right field. I mean, Trey Turner in 2021 costing them, 2022 costing them, right? So
Superman JT making
the
tag.
Superman tag right there. I mean, Chris Taylor back in 2018. There's so many examples. So, I mean, the Cody Bellinger in 2020. I think there's always those defensive plays that you point at during a championship run, and you know where Max Muncy's lined up. I mean, the confidence, I think it looks shaken at times. I think he understands it's the backhand, it's the range, glove side towards the line, right? So I think glove side too. I mean, kind of really, if it's not hit right at him, and even then, is he going to bobble? He's going to feel it clean. I've been saying it's a bar of soap season for him, right? It feels like everything's a bar of soap. So I think Max Muncy,
a lot of moving pieces too, because the throw has gotten wild on him at times.
The throw has gotten wild at times. And look, the reality, I mean, you made the best point, is that you look at the construction of this lineup, there's just nowhere to put the guy. And you kind of bite your tongue a little bit just because 35 home runs is going to give you 100 RBIs. There's really not that many teams in Major League Baseball that would say, your defense is bad, but we don't want the 35 home runs and 100 RBIs. Every single team in Major League Baseball is signing up for that trade.
He's definitely a conundrum player for this team.
Exactly. He's a conundrum player for this team. And I think that for him, as long as he's producing, as long as he's going out there and he's gonna, I think that's one of the big keys is this guy going out there and having big hits in the postseason is going to be massive. So I want to kind of jump a little forward though. Next year, I do think hopefully we see, I don't know how I can find a way to get this guy in here, but Miguel Vargas.
Stop trying to make
maybe
it a thing.
we do a platoon next year. Miguel Vargas, he's played 300 games at third base.
He's already looking ahead to next year.
I'm just saying, Muncy, strong against righties. This year, though, OPS 692. I mean, against lefties, it's much stronger against righties. So I definitely think moving forward, if you pick up that option, I want to see a little platoon situation, Muncy and Vargas. So, hey, I'm here for that. But last big question, and if this seems simple, but I think it's a little more nuanced, is this offense ready to hit? Is this offense going to avoid cold spells more than the one that we saw last season? In my opinion, I think the answer is 100% yes. I think from top to bottom, yes, you have the two-headed monster. You have the MVPs at the top in Mookie and Freddie. But other than that, I love what I've seen as far as Will Smith is going to get hot at the right time. That's something I feel in my bones. He dealt with that injury, got hit. He said that Dave Robertson was subconsciously kind of impacting his mechanics. I think he's going to be ready to roll. You got a bounce back version of Max Muncy we talked about, who's been big in the postseason. And then the key ingredient, to me, the biggest X factor, the guy
Julio Daniel.
J.D. Martinez. J.D. Martinez, a career 987 postseason OPS. Saw in 2018 the big hits he got. Justin Turner, last 2 years, 6 for 47. He was getting it done. Justin Turner is one of the biggest reasons why they lost to the Padres. He had so many opportunities to run in the scoring position. Suarez was mowing him down. He just could not hit high velocity. I think, too, bottom of the order, too. I love what I'm seeing with David Peralta. I've said all year, Peralta's going to get a big hit in the postseason that's going to change the series. Chris Taylor, he's an above-average bat this year. I think you got a Rosario.
You got a Jason Hayward, been there, done that.
Having the best year he's had in years. And I think, too, you got guys who hit lefties.
And a resurgent Miguel Rojas, who's kind of been on a tear over the last month.
A professional at bats. All you can ask for when you look at the defense he provides. So, look, last season.
And then Austin Barnes.
And then, yeah, I mean, like.
And Kike. I think you already said, but Kike is a guy, another, been there, done that. CT, been there, done that. These are guys that have had big hits in the postseason throughout their careers. Both of those guys with the Dodgers. Last
year they had Trayce Thompson having big postseason at bats.
I hated it so much.
He was awful, right? I mean, he walked a few times, but he was awful. You had Trey Turner not coming through in big spots. How about the fact that no one really talks about this? Mookie Betts last year in the postseason, he had hard contact, but he had 269, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't having the same success that we've seen in the past. So I think you need the MVPs to step up. I think you're not going to see a team go over 20 with runners in scoring position. You're not going to see a team go 5 for 34 with runners in scoring position. So I think the number one key for this postseason run is the offense has to step up. Like I said in the past, if you outslug your opponent, you win by over an 80% clip. And I think there's no question. James Outman is someone that is a 122 weighted runs created plus player. I think that people are sleeping on the Dodgers. I love the underdog Dodgers. I love the narrative this season. I love the fact that they're a little more under the radar, and I think this team is better equipped to have success offensively than the team did last year. I think I'm ready to guarantee an NLDS win. If it's the Brewers, if it's the Diamondbacks, I'm confident. You can clip this up. I'm not ready to say NLCS win, World Series win, but this team is going to win the NLDS because of their offense.
You heard it here first. I also think I said it earlier too, and that's that's just the confidence that I do have in this team. It's in the lineup. They're going to have to hit a lot to offset a very, very shaky starting rotation. But the pieces are there. The pieces are there to put together a really good run and definitely go beyond where they ended up last year, which was miserable. And even if they did somehow lose this year, I agree with kind of the sentiment you're laying out there. It won't be as bad. It won't feel as bad to lose in the DS this year, because this isn't a 111 win team with everybody firing on all cylinders to end the season. No, this is a team that's had problems from day one, yet somehow has persevered. I'm excited to see some meaningful baseball in whatever it is, 2.5, 3 weeks. So, 5 questions.
So if it's a Venn diagram, like the offensive, the circle's got to be a little more deeper, right? I mean, this offense has the ability to carry this team. I'm telling you, get excited, Dodgers fans. Everyone tries to write this team off because of the injuries, but let's not ignore the fact that this is one of the better offenses we've ever seen with a Freddie Freeman that just turned 34. I think people are writing off this year, not realizing that, hey, this time next year, Clint, Freddie's going to be 35, right? Mookie, his prime is going to be waning at some point. This team still needs to go out there, put together a great postseason performance. And I'm telling you, this season, don't sleep on these underdog Dodgers.
Couple of comments before we get out of here. If you have anything, Noah, go ahead and drop them in here. But I got two from, do you have anything or you just want to get out? All right. So I have some other great comments in here. Appreciate you guys for sure. But two, I need to get in from Jose Rado 5, because one, he says Dodgers don't have a gaping hole. Pause. And then to end with, where did it go? If we want the dub, we need to slug. So they're going to have to start slugging October 7th. Check local listings. But guys, thank you for hanging out with us so much. Thank you for enduring a longer Thursday show. I got some Birds to watch, take down some Vikings. So thank you for the comments, all the questions, all your super chats. Again, they mean so very much to us. Download the Mojo app. It is in the link in the description of this video, so do watch it. Do click that. Do use DN code or promo code DN 2023. Hey, guys, we got there. And again, find us on the internet, DodgersNation.com. We are also InsideTheDodgers.com. We have you covered 28/9 on all things Dodgers. Please help us. Subscribe to us as a podcast, iTunes, Spotify, all your spots where podcasts are available for free. We are there. Leave a review if you can. And importantly, subscribe to youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. 70,000 subscribers. We're giving away that Mookie Betts jersey. We want to do it next week, and we'll do it live. We're going to have a good time. I'm Real FRG. That is DMAC_LA. That is Noah Cameras. Noah Cameras wants to jump off the building, so we'll see you next time. Bye.